Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to Drums and Drams. My name's Cameron, and today is the 9th episode of the weekly Dram in 2024. We've got a lot to cover in today's episode, some fun stuff to recap from last week. There's going to be a blind tasting, actually, between two ryes. This is sort of Bottled and Bond week, that anniversary of the Bottled and Bond Act of 1897. So we are going to celebrate at least with one Bottled and Bond product, the Jack Daniel's Bonded Rye. We're going to put it head-to-head up against the Old Forester 100 proof rye, not bottled in bond, but again, same proof. I think this is going to be a really cool comparison. It's not one that I've ever done, and I'm excited to do it today for all of you and just see how these things are alike, how they're different, and which one I prefer out of the two blind. And I haven't tasted either of these products in the case of the Old Forester, in probably at least a year. And in the case of the Jack Daniel's, I've never tasted this rye. So this is really going to be kind of a fresh experience, fresh palate for me. And I think it's going to be a true representation of what I think about these two bottles. And finally, we will kind of preview what's coming up this week on the channel, maybe a little bit less than previous weeks, as there are some kind of shifts happening behind the scenes with the branding of the channel, with the Patreon. It's just busy behind the scenes. And so with that said, there might be a little less content, but that's okay. We've been doing pretty well on that front recently. Now, very quickly, let's recap the barrel pick from this past weekend. I want to say thank you again to the barrel pick team that joined us and all of the guys at River Roots, Tom and Ryan. And it was just a really fun experience. There is kind of an announcement to be made as I talk about this, as I tell you what we picked up there. I want to make sure that the Patreon members that are in the Patreon right now, which is where these barrel picks are going to be released, for the right to purchase them, I want to make sure that those members that have been there for months and years at this point are the ones that have the opportunity to pick up the very first barrel pick from Drums and Drams. It's a special milestone for the channel, for me personally, for everybody in the Patreon. I think this is just a cool experience, and with that said, we're going to have to, as of the time that this video releases and you watch this video, we are cut off. The tiers are locked in. The $5 and $10 members are all going to have the same chance at a bottle, and I think the yield is going to be such that everybody can get their hands on at least one bottle of this product. And of course, with that said, in the future, we are working right now with 3 different distilleries already for some future barrel picks. If you want the chance at some of those Drums and Drams barrel picks, check out the Patreon. There's going to be a restructuring happening within the next month. Some additional tiers being opened up with priority access and things like that. This is not meant to be a Patreon ad, but I do want to be very clear that when I tell you that we picked an absolutely ridiculous 11-year MGP rye from River Roots, that the only folks that are going to have the chance to get those, unless we go through the Patreon and there are some left over, are the members that, as of this moment of this video, are already in the Patreon. It's the best that I can do to show my appreciation for those folks who are there supporting the channel. And if you want to join in the Patreon, there's going to be much more to come in the future, many more barrel picks and great products and things like that to be a part of. So with that kind of out of the way, yes, we picked an 11-year MGP rye from River Roots. It's going to be about 118 proof as it stands, and we had to pass up an incredible barrel of 130 proof 11-year MGP rye because it actually, even with the proof and the dark color, it was not as good as the barrel that we picked. We think we truly found the best barrel that we had in the room that day between the 4 different MGP bourbons we tried, the 4 different 11-year ryes, as well as some other things. We think we got the best barrel, and that sample is right here, the remainder of it. And I'm going to be giving away an ounce of this, as well as the River Roots Distillery only release of this insanely dark port finished bourbon. I'm going to be giving those away on this Thursday night's live stream. So yes, we will have a live stream this week at the regular 8 p.m. Eastern time. But yeah, very excited and thankful again to the River Roots guys, to the PIC team, and to the Patreon for your continued support. Now let's get on to this blind tasting. Okay, here we go. So Bottled and Bond week. Kind of. Last week was Stag Week on the channel. I'm not putting out that much content ever again. I think we did like 7 or 8 videos last week on the channel between the videos and the live streams, and it was a lot. It was a struggle. So we're not going to do that much going forward, but it is kind of like this anniversary week for Bottled and Bond, so you will see some more of that on the channel this week. Let's get into this now. We're going to start with what I'm going to call Glass A, which is on your left, and we're going to see what we have here. and find out which one of these two ryes, Old Forester 100 or Jack Bonded, comes out on top. Here we go. So with both of these ryes, you're gonna expect some banana notes, right? We're talking Brown-Forman products for each of these. And I will say, you know, out of the barrel-proof versions of these ryes, I do tend to prefer the Jack Daniels. The Old Forester barrel-proof is just okay for me. It's very bright, very candy, you know, candy banana, candied cherry kind of notes. So I'll be curious to see if that also holds true here. So yeah, this first glass, this is coming off with like some, again, bright banana, kind of candied green apple notes. You know, you are getting that rye spice. But I would say that rye spice is coming off a little bit more white pepper and a tinge of mintiness, but not overdone on the mintiness at all. It's not like an MGP rye. And there's actually kind of a nice honey note to this one. So this feels light. Yeah, this feels light and sweet. There's kind of a brown paper bag note to it also. But overall, very, very nice on the nose. Instead of tasting that right away, I'm going to go on to glass B or glass 2 on the nose now. This one's interesting. This has a little bit more pie crust kind of notes, like more of these flavorful aromatic baking spices. Yeah, and there's actually kind of a custard note to this. So I would say that right away, glass B or glass 2 is maybe a little bit more appealing to me. It feels like a more dense kind of nose on this one. Yeah, and a little more sweetness, and I like that. I think I prefer that. Yeah, as I go back and forth now, very clear that glass 2 for me. You know what it smells like? It smells like a Boston cream donut. Like a Tim Hortons Boston cream donut is glass 2, and glass 1 is a little more of this traditional, you know, Brown-Forman banana honey rye kind of profile. So we'll see what these end up being. I'm not here to guess which one because I've never had the Jack and it's been a long time since I've had this Old Forester. Let's do glass A or glass 1 now on the palate. Cheers. Chocolate, brown sugar in this actually. So yes, banana. Yes, kind of young oak spice, which I'm calling white pepper here. But chocolate and brown sugar on that one. Drinks very well. I don't think you're going to be able to go wrong with either of these ryes, but it's going to be interesting to see which one comes out on top. And to that point, drop in the comment section which one you think at this point in the video, which one do you think is in which glass? I'm going to be curious because I'm not showing you ahead of time because it's only a quick side-by-side. It's not like a 5-pour blind. All right, glass 2 now on the palate. Ooh. I really like glass 2. It actually is a little more relaxed on the palate. Like I mentioned when I smelled it, it's sweeter. It feels a little more dense to me. And man, this custard note, this Boston cream donut thing is so nice. But it's a little more relaxed on the palate actually. So this is an interesting one where it depends on whether you value the actual notes in the whiskey itself more than you do kind of the drinking experience. So I got to do one more sip of each just to nail down my final thoughts, and then I'm going to choose what I guess is a winner, and then I think the reveal is going to be, well, it's going to be revealing about each of their profiles. Yeah, glass 1, just a little brighter overall, and now back to glass 2 one last time. Glass 2 is actually, man, I think I got to go with that. It is just a tinge more relaxed, less crescendo on the development, but I think that's it's got to be the winner. So let's do the reveal now. I'm gonna prefer glass 2. If I had to guess, I would think this is the Jack Daniels. I would think that the kind of the mellowing of the whiskey, let's say, is what's kind of taking a little bit away from the drinking experience, perhaps, but the darker flavors would make sense to me to be Jack Daniels. So let's find out which one is the winner. Oh, wow. It's the Old Forester is actually the winner. So there you go. The Jack Daniels coming in strong with that banana note. Very, very bright. I did not see that coming. So I think for me, the Old Forester 100 is my preferred rye here because it's a little bit of this darker profile, and I love this custard or Boston cream note. Yeah, that's fantastic stuff, and I know it received a lot of hype when it was first released. I think it deserves every bit of that hype, and it's like a $25 bottle or something with really good availability. It went away for a second there when, you know, all the whiskey craze, bourbon craze was going on during the pandemic, but I think this is widely available now, and you really can't do much better at the price than this Old Forester 100 Rye. And I think even if you don't like rye, this is going to be right up your alley. So there you have it. Now let's talk quickly about what is coming up this week on the channel. We are going to do an E.H. Taylor rye review. I've got rye on the brain. After we pick this 11-year MGP rye, I can't get rye off the brain. So the E.H. Taylor straight rye, which is bottled in bond, for the week, for the occasion. We're going to review that, and we're going to put it in a blind comparison with some other comparable ryes at that proof point, price point, and age. It's going to really kind of cover a lot of bases there. And there's obviously going to be a Scotch Sunday this week, and I do have some other videos in mind. I'm not sure which one of them, which ones are going to get done this week. Something else will come out between the live stream, the E.H. Taylor straight rye, and the Scotch Sunday. There will probably be one more video, but I don't want to box myself in because, again, things are moving quickly behind the scenes here on the channel, and I want to leave open that time if I need it to reallocate to taking care of those things. So that's going to do it. Let me know what you guys think, especially of these two ryes, Jack Bonded, Old Forester 100. I would love to know which is your favorite. Again, thank you to the Patreon community. Thank you for everybody's continued support of the channel. Like, comment, subscribe. And I can't wait to get this first barrel pick in the hands of the Drums and Drams Patreon at a price point that would surprise you. $115 or so for an 11-year MGP rye, and one of the best ones I think I've ever had, if not the best. That's going to do it, guys. Cheers, and I'll see you later. We're going to wrap up with a little pour of this Old Forester 100 proof rye. See you soon here on Drums and Drams.